All right, and I'm back with the famous shirt that you're gonna see. Actually, this is my shirt. I designed it. I actually drew the art. Okay, I'm just way off base, aren't I? Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all from the conversation. Anyway, let me stay focused. I guess I'm laughing because there's so much I want to talk about. I will say, you know, um, ooh, Lord God help me. Um, this story, if there are any children in the room, please leave. I am going to address the issue of domestic violence from a personal perspective and experience. And I know you're looking at me thinking, is she joking? Is she laughing? Maine, let me tell you, as they say in Memphis, if I don't laugh, I will cry. Maine, for real. My life has been tumultuous, but it's been good. It's been up and down. I've taken a lot of risk. And so let me back up. Right now, I keep thinking and I keep seeing uh, the first time this guy put his hands on me. And I still cry about it. Well, not as much as I used to, but enough that I'm going to tell this story the best I can. I don't know if there's anybody, if you're out there, I want to put a domestic abuse hotline number at the end and everything. So just this is a warning. If you're in the situation or is a topic that you can't handle, please, please, please do not watch this clip. Do not watch this clip. I was coming out of college and I met a guy. Actually, I met the guy because we both applied for an internship at the same company that was in DC. So I met him in the midst of the time of the interview. And I probably should have started, well, that's an excuse. So never mind. I was going to say probably should have started with my story about my dad who was absent. But there are women who have absent fathers that they do well. I wasn't one of those women. I did not do well at all. And I'm going to put a quote down. I'm saying this, so I'll remember a quote that I heard from a young Levanzon about 10 years ago about a father and daughter relationship. These are important. That's why we need men to be good fathers, good fathers. But backing up, but I met this guy. This is back in 1988. Met this guy on a trip. It was a bunch of us that were interviewing for an internship. If you got the internship, you'd be there for the summer. If you did well, they would offer you a job after your senior year. After your senior year in college. Okay. So anyway, went for the interview, and while I was there, he and I didn't sleep together or anything, just were together. He was attached to me, and you get that thing, and that, ooh, this is not only for women, this is for men too. Walk away. You know that voice that's in your head? Walk away and walk away quickly. Nope. Don't be tripping about my bad decisions. Everybody makes them. Okay, let's come on back. Okay, so met this guy, was talking to him and thought he was nice. He went to a school because we were from different schools from different parts of the country, like New Orleans, Louisiana, Texas. I was from Tennessee, DC area, just different parts of the country. So here we were, and I believe it was HBCUs because that's what they were targeting at the time. I believe, don't quote me on that, but my group anyway, most of us were from HBCUs. We hung out, got to see the city, ran around together after our interviews, and I'm laughing because I'll never forget at my I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay focused. But during my interview and everything I had to do, because there was some testing and stuff involved, and I'll never forget, I was sick for a day. And I think the interviewers left the room or whatever, and I just laid my head back, and I think I fell asleep. Okay, but they still ended up hiring me. I'm gonna let y'all know that in advance. Okay, yes, I know that was so bad. Going back to this guy. Oops, I'm sorry, I hit my mic. Going back to this guy. So we connected. We stayed in touch. That was the summer of '88. Let's see. It was in the fall that I applied for the job, flew out, did the interview, and didn't find out till the spring of '88 if I got the internship. And then the case would be go for the summer. Well, it turned out I did get accepted and he did not. Because one of the things you also had to do was a psychological exam. It was intense. Um, but he didn't get accepted. And I saw another red flag because I could see him changing. It was a tinge of she got it, but I didn't. But I just kind of let it go, tried to stroke his ego. It'll be okay. And as a result, went on, got hired. He did not have a job, but we were still seeing each other. He was in Texas. My friend and I would drive over down to Texas, go see him, and he had a roommate at the time, and all four of us would hang out together. And I would drive back over the weekend, drive back to school. I mean, I was really trying to make the effort to have this relationship with him. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna read you something I wrote that I put in my very first book, and I'll do that at the end. So, God, I don't know why this is so hard as I think back on it. I was young, and you remember you're dealing with someone who, challenging childhood, and there's some things I'll talk about with that, but I was naive. I thought he loved me. And when you don't fully understand and know what love is, sometimes you'll accept anything that you think is for you. And being a nerd in high school, I didn't think anybody else would like me. I didn't believe I was attractive. I knew I was intelligent and smart and well read. But I didn't see myself as attractive. So I believe that's why I got what I got. Let me leave, and I'll leave that there. The summer the summer of the internship, all of us were there. They put us up in corporate housing and we stayed together. I think I had a roommate. I forget completely how it was set up, but we all had a roommate. I remember there being a gym there, and I remember working out with a group of us would get together, male and female, and go down to the gym. And I was a runner, so I would run, I'd work out. And there was a gentleman there, just a friend, no interest. And I remember talking to him and, hanging out, but I just spent time with anybody, not thinking anything about it. But I remember the very first time this person called me from Texas. As a matter of fact, I'll call him Texas. And he started telling me everything I did that day. I'm thinking, how are you in Texas and I'm in DC and you know everything? Thought it was just coincidence because it wasn't detail, but it was enough to set off an alarm. But I'm just thinking, oh, he's just interested in, I don't know, talk who he talked to, whatever. It happened a few more times over the summer. And what I realized and learned was one of the people I was hanging out with, he was in contact with, and they would report to him every day what I was doing, where I was going, who I was hanging out with, what we were talking about. But that wasn't enough. I just thought, oh, he's just concerned and he likes me. I didn't understand the red flag. Summer ended. I went back to school. He went back to school, and that's when I started visiting him in Texas and so forth. And ended up moving. I was offered a full-time job after college, and I moved to DC, had a roommate, female, And he moved as well. He didn't have a job yet, but the three of us lived together. She had a boyfriend too, but he was working somewhere else, I believe. He didn't live with us. But it was me, Texas, and another young lady. So we stayed in the same apartment. And I just think about how ugly and bad I probably was at the time, but a lot of weird stuff was happening. I wish I could remember the first disagreement. I wish I could. This was the first person, well, this was my first person. And I didn't know a lot, um, just naive. We got into an argument. The apartment was upstairs, downstairs. And we were downstairs in the living room. And I cannot remember what happened or what I said. But I remember going over the couch and hitting the floor. And I was more stunned than anything. Because what do you do with that? When a person says they love you and then they put their hands on you in a violent manner. I had seen violence before with family members. And I thought, this will never happen to me. I'll never put up with it. I'll leave a relationship. But I didn't leave. And I didn't ask him to leave. I did not. I stayed. I stayed. And it didn't stop. But I kept blaming myself. It was my fault. And he blamed me as well. And I'll never forget, I think maybe a year had gone by because we went to my alma mater's, either it was a graduation or it was a reunion, or the homecoming. I can't remember which one. And somebody who knows the story, who was there when this next memorable, as I call it, incident happened. But I stayed, so I know it was at least a year. We came back to Tennessee, and we landed at the airport, and we were supposed to, a friend of mine was meeting us, and we were supposed to rent a car. I can't remember the exact arrangements, but my girlfriend was there, and I don't know where he wandered off to get this rental car. And I looked and I called and he didn't answer and all this. Well, couldn't find him. I'm sorry. And he didn't answer. And I was like, okay, he has the address. He'll find us and he'll come to the apartment. Got in the car with her, went to her apartment, sat down laughing and talking. He knocks at the door. She lets him in and he is coming for me. He didn't come at me immediately. She went into another room and I was in the living room, and his first thing was, why did you leave me at the airport? Why did you leave me at the airport? I can't believe you left me at the airport. And I was trying to explain what happened and how we got separated and why I left. And I tried to find you and so forth. He was not hearing it. He hit me. And y'all, I'm not talking love pats. Not at all. And we're tussling, and I'm trying to, I won't say necessarily defend myself, but protect myself and from this man hitting me. And my friend comes out, and she's got a knife in her hand. And I jumped, and I was like, well, he kind of lunged toward her, and I'm trying to keep him from hurting her. If you're going to hurt somebody, hurt me, but don't put your hand on my friends. So I got them separated, and he runs out the door. But did I leave? No. I didn't leave him there. I didn't abandon him. I loved him. I was going to make it work. We went back to DC, ended up getting our own place. It didn't get any better. So we fought a lot in the apartment, and it was just so interesting because at one point my brother came, and I thought, I know there's no way this person is going to put their hands on me with my brother in the house or with him living here. He did not care. And that's the thing about an abuser. They don't care. They don't care. They will hurt you and anybody else around you. And I didn't get that. So I'd had enough. I think I'd been in the relationship because I've been in these C3s for 3 years at least. Well, two and a half. And I let him know I was leaving. I'd taken all the beatings I was going to take. And I remember us being in the bathroom. And this is kind of funny because my brother reminds me of this story every now and then. But I was in the bathroom and he was acting crazy and he was about to go off on me. So we were fighting in the bathroom. And this morning, I had longer hair and everything. And I had my curling irons and they were hot. And I just swung and hit him. I can't tell you where it landed. I don't know what happened, but we were going at it. We were going at it. I was trying to go to work. So I was like, I'm done. And I got dressed and went to work. And, you just go. For me, it was keep going. Just do what you got to do. But at that point, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't raise children in this environment, and I will die before anything else happens. Decided to leave, and he told me if I left him, he was going to kill himself. And I was like, oh, he's going to kill himself. I can't leave him. I have to stay with him. How dare I leave him? Yeah, that's what I went through. And I honestly did think that because I'm thinking he's going to hurt himself because I am leaving. This is my fault. And I called a friend of mine. I'll call her Memphis. And Memphis told me, girl, if he kills himself, that's not on you. But get your butt up out of there. And I was like, oh, okay. I know it's like a big light bulb came on as if I didn't know that. It really isn't my fault. If he decided because I left, because I'm trying to protect myself, because I'm trying to make a different choice for me, and I'm trying to live and I'm trying to have a life. So this is the funny part of it. And I'm sorry, this is so long. Just a couple more pieces of this one. And I'll probably refer back to it. But the funny thing is, y'all, I was so paranoid at this point. That one morning I got up. It was a weekend. I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday morning. One morning I got up and I couldn't find him. He wasn't in the bed beside me. Yep, I was still sharing a bed with him. We were still sharing an apartment. Just tomfoolery, as I call it. And I couldn't find him. Y'all, let me tell you. I checked everywhere. I checked under the bed. I checked under the couch. I walked the apartment first, and I didn't see him in the obvious places. His car was still there, so I know he wasn't gone. And I had co-signed on a car for him. I mean, I had done stuff for him. I mean, okay, so let me back up. When I couldn't find him in the obvious places, and he wasn't even outside, y'all, I looked behind the refrigerator. Yes, I did. I know y'all laughing. I did. I literally looked behind the refrigerator. I opened every single cabinet in the kitchen. I opened all the closets. I went through every room. I looked in every nook and cranny. Where I found him in our walk-in closet of the bedroom, had pulled all my clothes down and was balled up in fetal position on the floor. And I left him there. I closed the door. I got dressed and I went about my business because that freaked me out. I found an apartment and I moved in with two other young ladies. We were three of us in an apartment, and everybody had their own room. And I think I had to share a bathroom with one of them. And we got along. Everything was fine until I called myself breaking up with this person and moving out. But evidently, I didn't do a very good job because I was going to still be friends with him. Friends. We can be friends. We can talk. It was the middle of winter, and I'll never forget, a young lady was setting me up to go out with someone else. And he came over. I can't remember he knew where I lived. I can't remember if I invited him or he just showed up. But he came over, knocked on the door, and I was on the phone with this girl. And he wanted to say hello. So I handed him the phone. And when I did that, she told him that she had set me up with a friend of hers. He lost it. Literally lost it. So I am in my room and he starts going in. So I get up and run. We live on the second floor, I think it was. I don't think it was the third. I'm trying to remember how. Anyway, I run and I could not get out fast enough. So as I'm going at the door, he kicks me, which sends me tumbling down the stairs. No, he didn't kick me. I'm sorry. He does kick me, but he gets out because he ends up pulling me by my hair down the stairs. And that's how I end up in the bottom. And so I end up in the corner, and he's just kicking and punching me. And I am in the corner. The saving grace was I lived next door to some firefighters, and they heard me screaming in the hallway, and they chased him through the snow. And that's what saved me. And this guy, the fireman came back and asked me if I wanted to call the police, and I said no. And I let it go. But the story gets better. Because I'm trying to do the right thing, be his friend. Maybe we can work it out. Maybe he'll change. Girl, bye. Anyway, yes, I can look back on that and think, wow, intelligence. Yeah, anyway. Um, he eventually went back to Texas. I eventually did leave DC. But before I left DC, I went to go visit him. But this is the funny thing, and this is why you got to pay attention to your dreams. The week I was going to fly out and visit him, see if we could work things out, I had a dream about black cats. There was the car that I co-signed on. He and I were outside, parked in front of his parents' house because I had met his family and everything because we were going to get married. Opened up the trunk and all these black cats started coming out. I know black cats have such a bad rep, but they just kept coming out and coming out of this car. And I knew that was a warning. I just was like, that'll be okay. So I flew my butt to Texas, stayed the weekend. He did not touch me. He didn't lay his hands on me physically or any other kind of way. And I was like, yeah, but I could see the temper. And I came back and I was done. And I broke it off completely. I don't know where he is to this day. And I'm okay with that. And if you're watching, you don't need to contact me. Thank you very much for the life experience. So let me put the pin in that right there. I'm not trying to go backwards, but I wanted to share that story and my experience with domestic abuse. We can see all the signs, but we can also ignore them. And I ignore them, but I was young and I did think I was in love and I was foolish, you know, for all the wrong reasons. I didn't, man, I don't know what would have helped me to make a different decision. I don't. I have no idea. Um, but that's my domestic abuse story. Again, if you're in this situation, I pray that you will get to safety, that you will be covered, male or female, because women hit men and abuse them as well. Yeah, I have seen it. And so it goes both ways. It does go both ways. I don't know if this story will help anybody, but I hope so. And there wasn't a lot of humor in it, but I needed to share that story. I don't talk about it much, but let me read you what I wrote in my journal. In my book. Okay. Ooh. All right. This is what I wrote. It's called A Woman's Point of View. There's a certain flavor of uncanny sadness when we are around each other. I feel a sense of regret for the bad times we've been having. No one can fully blame the other because together we ruined this relationship. There's a little hope. There's a glimpse of light. What to do with it is a lingering question. Do we let it fade through time or try to increase its brightness into something magnificent? Yep, I wrote this in my journal. The fear I felt inside comes from many things. Yes, some have something to do with you. There are a few things missing in our relationship. I would categorize them as trust, understanding, and communication. Trust, a one-syllable word with 5 letters that can ruin a nation. It means a lot to me. More than words can describe of how important you trusting me is. I dare not proclaim to be perfect enough to convince you that I am and always will be faithful. Until you come to a basic and convincing point in yourself that these words are true, then the aim of trust will never be achieved. I sit and wonder that if I'm giving of myself to another, then what is he getting? Is he getting my time? Is he getting my money? Is he riding in my car? Is he making love to me? Is he? Understanding. There is a great lack of. I don't understand anymore. I stopped understanding the day you picked me up and threw me over the couch. That's when I stopped understanding and tried so hard to understand. That's when it all started. My memories of childhood since birth. I stopped trying to make excuses for the men that had entered my life and damaged me. I stopped accepting excuses for the men in my life that gave me the excuses for the damage they had done. These men, starting with my father and ending with you, have built up 2 centuries of hate and anger. Sunday, I woke up. No more running from what's killing me inside that no one wanted to hear. No more fear of being ashamed to let someone know that I can't deal anymore with the ringing in my head. I can't make it stop until I face everything that has ever happened to me. I've got to do it today. Sunday, my fear went away. Communication. There's a lot said, but nothing heard. I can't say what I feel. It may not come out right. There's a lot I have wanted to say, some of it good, some of it bad. Imperfection comes with the territory I dare to mention. But for a long time, I tried to be the perfect mate for your happiness, not mine. I put you on a pedestal so high that even God was not good enough to touch you. I set you so far out that not even the oceans combined could reach you. I made you better than God and higher than Jesus Christ. I denied my own happiness for yours. The trouble now is that I am fighting to get back the happiness for myself. There is an old me I had fought so long to find so I could be happy. She is within, and I will find her. I will become what I was and extend into something greater. I am no longer afraid of what the sun will bring me the next day. But I dare to say and promise the sun should fear what I'm willing to show it the next time it rises. It stole from me respect, dignity, and my love for me. I want it back. I want to be me again. Only that way can I make you happy and me a better person. The interesting thing about this all is I read this even now, and honestly, I haven't picked this up in years, and I published this in 2011. But it was something that I wrote in my journal back in 2000. I can't even remember, and I'm so lying. It's 1990 something. But the interesting part about it is I saw that same woman so many times over and over and over in relationships. I saw this same behavior of trying to make sure somebody else had happiness. And I was willing to sacrifice and compromise so they could be happy in different relationships and in friendships because I kept putting people before my own. It took me a long dadgum time to get to where I am. And y'all, when I tell you I just don't care, it's not that I don't care in the way of I'm not concerned, but I can't care. That's why 2025, I'm betting on me. And hey, you get in the way, you just might get mowed over. And it's not that I'll be mean and cruel, but when you have been through, I'm trying to contain myself. But when you get to a point and you've seen the crap I've seen and you've experienced the things I've experienced, and you keep asking yourself, how do I and why do I keep ending up here? It's a simple answer. I keep being the same person. I'm trying to be who they want me to be. And every time I try to be who they want me to be, I end up in a situation that is not for me. I'm not saying things don't happen when you are truly authentically yourself, but my people pleasing, and that's what it was for this man. It was, if I can just do the right thing, be perfect all the time, say the right thing, dress the right way. And I realized over the years, I just kind of really went downhill. And it has been a stint of time. And I've had good years, don't get me wrong. But it was that when I read that, I realized how many times over and over and over I did that. Even female friends took the same advantage. And yet called me friend to my face. But what that man did to me was the beginning. I am Celestejona. Speak your truth. Live with transparency. You will see the triumph.